Alrighty, today we're going to be doing a little tutorial on Pinna 3 TAS Strat. As far as I know, there is not an existing tutorial for this, and I feel like there should be one. And I'm just flashing the leaderboard here, you know, just kind of gonna flex my pedigree a little bit in the level, you know, show I've got a little bit of authority to speak on the level. I do think I'm got a decent grasp on it to be able to do a tutorial on it. This will be more RTA focused in terms of like just hitting the strats. I won't tell you how to get 31 in this, you know. If you want to see how to get 31, I've got it in like the video description and stuff here. There's like a whole bunch of info, so if you're interested in that. But yeah, just gonna be TAS Strat. I might look a little bit at boat hop. Just because it's a backup for boat hop, or backup for TAS Strat. And I think the strat at the beginning of this is helpful for hitting boat hop, so that could be useful for some people, but yeah, pretty much just going to be looking at TAS Strat, so let's get over into that. And obviously the first thing when you load it is going to be getting a yieldy water slide, and for whatever reason, I've noticed this water slide seems to drop for a lot of people, and I feel like it happens to me as well. I think the thing to note here is don't rush it. I'll get into this more in depth here, but that boat cycle is truly an auto scroller, actually. Well, I guess it's that boat cycle right there. You can actually get there too early, and I've even been speaking for like top level IL attempts, you know, it's an auto scroller in that sense as well, for getting on the tip of the boat. Like, you can get there too early. And so I'd say don't rush that first input is the first thing to say. The other thing is you could skip it all together and just do that guy. And I'll just show you real quick. That, yes, it is fast enough. You don't have to do a Hoverslide. I almost made it onto the tip of the ship there. Almost. But yeah, I don't think the water slide's too bad. Like, I gave myself a little bit there to just walk. Well, I actually screwed it up. The key would be obviously like hovering more, I guess. Something like that. Anyway, the next thing you want to do, obviously a rollout. You want this rollout to be as far forward as possible and as short as possible. So full rollout's bad here. Because you want to spend more time water sliding. Pretty binary thing there. There's not really too much nuance to it. And you'd be surprised how forward you can hit this trampoline. Like, that doesn't look like it should work. Like, it looks like I was hitting the pole there, but like, look at that. Okay, not quite that, but I think if I was a little to the left there, that would have worked. But like, this is what you want. If you're hitting it back towards the center, you're giving up time that you could have been spending water sliding, for example. That wasn't terrible. I'll give you an example of like a terrible one. So this is like, just roll out way too early. And let me see, even if I do that, am I still disqualified? Nope. A little bit slow, but like, you see how lenient this is then. Like, you can make mistakes like that and still hit it. But if you want to give yourself the best chance, obviously you're looking at a small rollout here. And obviously pump hover, you want to hover less here to keep more momentum. And for this jump here, obviously you know what we're doing. We're doing Spinjump Y Turn. There's like two methods to it. I'm actually going to go back to desktop view here because I'm just going to show you this because this is actually way more difficult how Dide does it here. Because I couldn't even really do it the way he does. Look at this angle he takes on this spin jump. This angle is nutso. It's really stupid because you basically have to be in Y cam as little time as possible. It's like you turn, like just immediately cancel it and have to do the wall jump. This is just way harder, in my opinion. You might think it's faster because like, oh, you know, you take a closer angle so you get to the thing faster, but the thing about it is he has to spend a little bit more time hovering and like turning around in his hover is a thing. So we'll compare to me over here, right? So if I spend more time turning in midair, then once I've done my jump, I have to turn around less here, basically. Either way, it still is like a deal where, you know, it's an auto scroller technically, and it doesn't matter too much either way. But I think they're like close, and furthermore, I think going the outside angle, like further to the left, just makes it way easier. Like I can go something crazy like this. I missed my A press, but I'm still making it. So, you know, that's what I'd say on that Spinjump Y Turn. Just take a wide angle. This is probably the angle I would do. It's like not quite a 45-degree angle, a little bit more inwards. And almost being on the peak. But yeah, in terms of other tips. So probably one of the places that screws up most on this would be like the hover itself. In terms of turning more quickly. And I don't even really know how I used to mess this up, but at some point I figured it out. So basically, what I do is I hold C left, and I just like curl the stick around, just slowly turn it. That's not a great way to reload this, but when I do that, Mario like basically starts turning as fast as he can, like just, I don't know. It just makes it work better. I don't know what a bad example is. I tried to look at this earlier and find out. Okay, that was actually one. Mario was like stalled in the air and not moving. And again, I'm not sure why that happened exactly, but once did that happen again there? I'm going crazy. This guy. Save state practice might be good here, by the way. Yeah, that's another thing to watch out for, and I think delaying your Y press a little bit will help with. Yeah, something about... for some reason doing this, I have to do the whole thing. I can't, like, figure out how to do this normally. And more attempts is good as well. Yeah, there's just, like, a certain timing to moving the control stick so that your hover is good and juicy and doesn't like stall midair. Like if you get it to where it's stalling midair, you're gonna be just like way further behind in the cycle. So if you can get it to just keep turning, then you're golden. And obviously you don't have to go for the tip of the shift. I'm just doing that out of habit, and I know I'm not making it on those cycles as well. I'm not going fast enough. The last probably tip I have on this is dive as soon as you reasonably can on this. That was even like a little earlier than like would be reasonable. That was like as early as you could have done it. If you spend more time hovering there, you know, you're spending more time hovering and not diving. So that can help you make up a couple frames. I'll just like delay my hover here, and you see it got a little bit more. It still wasn't even that tight. But that's just the tip there. Did I miss anything? Up Hoverslide, short rollout, Spinjump dive, the angle, the Y turn, the hover, dive. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that section. At least that's all that I know how to talk about with it. If I think of something later, I'll come back to it. Next one would be the fifth coin. This is the second tricky part. If you know, you can get good at the movement there. I think it's not too bad, but this is like the part that'll trip you up more often than not, I'd say. I don't know. Or at least, once I've got the movement down, that part's not hard, but then this is like perennially hard. Like it just will come back and bite me more often, even though I know it, if that makes sense. For this one, I'd recommend an angle that's more this way. Like, so if this is your 45-degree, I'd say be walking off like this, roughly. I think that makes it a little bit easier. Because if I do like this, then like I'm landing there. And you could do that if you're like over here, right? Sort of. And let's go the extreme this way. And that even still works. So yeah, like I said, I'd recommend like this sort of angle. I don't know what all needs explained here. You just gotta pick a good angle, press right as soon as you get off of this thing, you know, press Y and right. You can press Y as you like before you walk off, although that actually kills your speed, never mind. Main thing is just don't hover too early. You can recover from hovering too late. And you can imagine where the coin is, but I can also reload it. Let's see. In my IL, I hover for like 3 frames there. So you can hover for very little frames through that. It's very, very difficult. It's probably the hardest part of like getting IL record is doing that correctly. So there is a little bit of a different thing you can do here, and this will come down to preference. You can also hold upright going off of this thing. And you don't really want to hold upright the entire time. I don't think anybody really does that, but I don't know, that might make it pretty easy. Well, this would be super slow. But I think what generally people will do is hold upright at the start and then move to straight right. And like just, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get more turning, but also you turn the camera down is the appeal of upright. And that just makes timing the hover easier, because you can see it. If you go just straight right, it is more feel-based a little bit. Let's see, so like you do like that. I don't know. You roll it and it works. I don't personally do that. That does create a difference down the line though. So let me tell you about the Koopas. The Electrokoopas. The Electrokoopas are on the ramp behind me. I'm not showing them because basically when you load in the level, they start at a set position. And until you look at them, they haven't moved. And so I'm gonna look now. This is bad timing, but you can see they start, you know, an even distance apart, and then they start moving. And that was 20 seconds into the level. If I look now, you're gonna do the exact same thing. So they only start moving once you basically like revealed them to the camera. When you do this, like with upright, that actually makes it so the middle Koopa like starts his walking pattern. Let me just show that out here. I don't know if I did enough upright there. We'll see. I did not. So that's like, if you do straight right, that's where the second Koopa will be. But if I do, is that enough? I'm not sure. Yes, it was. So you don't even have to hold upright all the way to get the Koopa here. This Koopa position makes the coin clip more difficult, which is why I don't do it. But it also means that you can like run straight up the left side. I'll show that one more time. So we're doing this a little out of order. Oh my gosh, what was that? Okay. On the new IL strat live on stream. At fetch. Yeah, don't mind me missing coins. Yeah, the advantage here is if I do this, I can just run up the left side. So, and the momentum run is like tricky, so you may even want to do this. Like this does make the level objectively easier in like 2 ways, but also harder in 1 way, because like I said, the Koopas are right next to each other when you're trying to do the coin clip. And also I think it makes it a little bit slower, specifically on like this, because if I do right, I'm like able to hover less generally. But like upright, I don't know, some hybrid is likely the best thing. So if you're just learning this for the first time, probably go ahead and do upright. It's probably better. But I learned straight right, so that's just what I'm going to be doing until the end of time probably. But the time save or loss for each thing, it's really even between them. You know, you save time just going up the left side of the ramp, but you also lose time through that hover, so it's like it's just minute. My PB's video description has some more details on that, but it's like not that big a deal time-wise. So, preference, basically. So yeah, next part. Oh yeah, next part, obviously, is diving onto this thing. Obviously, the later you get off the dive, not later, the dive, but the further forward you hit the platform, the better. As you see there, I preserve 43 speed. 45, that's really good. 45 means I was like on there for like 1 frame. 46, even better. But obviously, like, if you're back here, see I went down to 40, you know, you can lose a decent chunk of frames just from, like, sliding too much. So, ideally you get it close to the ledge, but, you know, just play it how you're comfortable. And then just kind of hover through that coin. That's not too crazy. Obviously, you got to get a decent hover height, not hover too high or too low. That's pretty obvious. But let's go from here. So, I like to fill up water, even though I didn't need all that much. There's 2 camera angles you would do here. Also, instant ledge grab. I don't think that's fast though. You can do it like this, and then you would need to do like a upright. For this, you need to learn like what camera angle works with the control stick angle of upright. But yeah, what I personally do is I angle the camera like this and go like this. Again, preference. This, I feel like this is a little easier to bonk the guy here because obviously right here is tricky because you can either bonk this idiot or, you know, end up on this and have a bad time. It's like, it's a reasonably wide area. It's not terrible. It's like a Mario and a half or maybe 2 Marios of space. So it's not crazy, but it is easy to mess up. I don't know if I have crazy tips for getting it consistently, but yeah, just line up your camera in a way that it helps you hit this. I think it's easier to hit this like this, like from here. I don't know. For some reason that feels easier to me than this, but this is what I do anyway. Because I like how it approaches me to the Spinjump dive here. Speaking of which, coin clip. This is something I'm sure a lot of people want to know how to do. So, and this is a part where save state practice would be really, really good, by the way. But we'll make do here. Oh yeah, I need some coins. The coins to be loaded. Oh, wait just a second here. So, coin clip looks like this. Not quite. Not quite. And if you're on the Japanese version, you can do that. If you're on US, you can't do that. You can't hover after getting shocked, by the way, on US or PAL. JP, objectively best region. I'm just telling you, it's the best version of the game. But yeah. I'm just trying to show the movement a couple times before I explain. So that wouldn't have worked. You can kind of tell if it would work here. I'm actually beefing this really hard. Oh yeah, the other preference bit is if you do left side or right side, there's not much difference between them. You might find one easier, you might find one harder. I think left side's faster though. Just so slightly. But it's just like very... Oh yeah, I can kill this thing. That's what I'll do. Leaving these 2 coins is a good indicator of whether or not I'm hitting it. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get rid of this guy too. Okay. So... I'm not explaining a lot. The general approach I do is I like to drift to the left in the air, so I'll hold upright through here. That way, when I turn in, like I have more time to, I don't know, get the angle I want. Because if you go really close like this, that's like tricky. Like I don't even know if I could hit that. Oh, that would have done it. But I do find that more difficult. So I do like just drifting out. And like really, I mean, this might be obvious, but the killer thing is getting the right hover height. What will set you up well is getting a consistent place that you do your spin jump from. So like, if you, for instance, walk a bunch up the slope, then like you're gonna be way up here. Or if you do like a tiny rollout, you're gonna be way down here. And like you can make that work. That would have worked. But finding like a consistent way you do it. Like if I'm at this distance and I do a spin jump, I think I killed my momentum there, but I was able to react. Getting consistent like angle and approach here is what helps a lot. But let's go more in depth on like the clip itself and like how that works, so you can think about it a little bit differently. Now let's load in here. You might think you need to be like direct center on the coin, and like you can do it that way. But what you also can do, and wait, how did I? Wait, that's not where my position load is. Oh, I thought I loaded on this coin, or I thought I saved position on this coin. Let's see. Like, I just find doing it at this is a little more strict for whatever reason. But if I like go over here, that like just works. I don't know. Like being lower than the coin for whatever reason seems to help me, I think. So like just learning what height works here, kind of doing this over and over, I think is helpful. Getting a feel for it. And let me load back here. The other thing, which I only thought of this session, but it is cool. The angle that you hover through the clip actually matters. So take, for instance, like this angle versus this angle, right? If you're going this way, you're like moving a little bit up the slope as you hover, which means that, you know, think GBS. As you move up the slope, I don't know how to word this analogy, but it's kind of similar to GBS, right? But if I'm moving down, like if I, for my jump here, if I've turned like this and I go down, then I'm going to clip up sooner. But if I go like this, I'm going to clip up later. Basically, is kind of how you can look at it. It is generally like you want like a straight angle is the moral of the story, but like if you turn too much, that's when it gets kind of crappy. I'm really failing this a lot. This is like not, I don't feel like this is indicative of me me doing this well. Let me do like a little bit more extended attempts. And this is a good thing to show off because it shows like you can practice the second half from here and the cycles are the same. Because of what I said, like the Koopas aren't moving yet. And if you're doing what I'm doing, just hover later. Don't be dumb. Let me just do this in full motion. Yeah, like that. And get a few more of those in. Yeah, for this I'm like, yeah, I need to be doing more of this angle. If this is in full motion, I probably would have less trouble. Opium. This setup was so scuffed. Oh, too close. Okay, so like either farther over here or like further out angle. But yeah, I think you get the idea. Like I go out a little bit so that I have more time to like look at it and get in position for the coin flip. there anything else I'm forgetting to explain on this? I just am fishing for completed attempts just to like show you how it works and like show you, but a lot of it is kind of, you have to feel the right thing. But I guess like I said, the hover height is what matters. And I did say like, you know, spin jump from a consistent spot. Part of the benefit of that is when you're at the height of your spin jump, you know, you approach 0 speed, right, at the height. And so you'll be at, you know, 8 V speed, then 4, then 0 or whatever, and then -4, -8. And so like around that point, there will be less variation in your height when you hover. And so like if you can get it to where you hover at the peak of your spin jump, then that'll be a consistent thing. And so then it's just like okay, how do I get it to where the peak of my spin jump is the correct clip height, right? And there my spin jump was a little bit too low, so it wasn't what I just described. That would be the way to make it the most consistent, though. Yeah, that's close. And then, yeah, the momentum run up, it's tricky. It takes a lot of control. I don't know how to advise you. Just, it's tricky. You just gotta run up and move your thumb good. Don't get shocked. Oh, if you do get shocked, generally the tip is let go of your control stick, because if you're like momentum running and you hold forward, you'll generally bonk like this. Or just hold forward, and you could fall off doing that. But if you do that, like let go of the control stick, you'll just kind of move off to the side a little bit. Let's see, is there anything else to talk about on this? There's the shine grab. Oh, that's fairly self-explanatory. You just jump dive into it, and then you Y turn, like, before you hit the shine. So, I could do a couple, like, full things to show off. I don't know. Well, there I went way too early on the rollout, but it shouldn't matter. Well, it would matter if I was going for tip of the ship. I almost could have still made that. Oh, wow. So yeah, don't take that angle off the top there. I was just like, oh, I'm really far forward, I can take a crappy angle. But no, I don't. Just use the correct angle. I'm gonna do the correct angle this time. Yeah, I'll just show you. Just do that normal. There we go. Walk off with the right angle. Don't try to be cute. And yeah, screw that up. 25.7 would be a... Is that a 42? Yeah, because 24.9 is the 31. Yeah, 25 last coin grab would indicate a 42 time. Okay, we've lost time, but remember, folks, auto-scroller. There we go. This'll... Oh, I didn't jump. I can look at the speed display, see I didn't jump, but oh well. That could have been a 32. So yeah, I think that's generally all the tips I had for the level. And I don't need this to go too long, so I'm gonna end it there. Let me know if you have any more topics that you think would be good for a tutorial.